Hello everyone, Tim Allen, the comedy legend who rose from stand-up stages to become one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, known for Home Improvement, the Toy Story franchise, and the Santa Claus films, has always been seen as a funny, tough, sometimes controversial figure who built his career on sharp wit and a rough-around-the-edges persona. But behind the laughter and success lies a complicated story that recently brought him to tears when he finally opened up about how much he truly hated one particular figure in his life, someone whose presence shaped his entire journey, someone whose shadow haunted him even as he climbed to the top. And that person was his own father's killer, the drunk driver who caused the accident that ended his father's life when Tim was just a child. This tragic loss left Tim broken and angry, planting seeds of rage and hatred in him that would simmer for years. And as he revealed in interviews, he carried that unresolved pain deep into adulthood, masking it with comedy, reckless behavior, and eventually the destructive choices that nearly ended his career before it even truly began, including his infamous arrest for drug trafficking in the late 1970s that sent him to prison and almost permanently destroyed his future. But as Tim explained through tears, the hatred he felt toward the man who killed his father became a poison inside him, a wound that never healed and one he tried to bury with fame, money and laughter, but which would always resurface in moments of loneliness, guilt or regret, shaping the darker parts of his character and driving the self-destructive habits that plagued his early years. He admitted that this deep-seated hatred almost cost him everything, not just his freedom and career, but also his chance to be the kind of father his dad never got to be, because the anger inside him was eating away at his ability to love, trust, and forgive. And for years he lived with the burden of resentment, a secret battle behind his public smile. Until finally he reached a breaking point where he realized that holding on to hate was destroying him from the inside out. His tears came not only from the pain of recalling his father's death, but from the shocking realization that the man he hated most had dictated so much of his life, had controlled his emotions, his choices, and even his failures. And Tim finally understood that the only way to move forward was to let go. Not to excuse the tragedy, but to stop allowing hatred to define him. This confession, raw and emotional, resonated with fans because it showed a side of Tim Allen that the world rarely sees. Not the comedian or the movie star, but the broken boy inside who grew up with grief and rage, who spent years pretending it didn't affect him, and who is now brave enough to admit that the weight of hate nearly destroyed him. Today, Tim credits his faith, his family, and his second chance in Hollywood with giving him the tools to slowly heal, to find meaning in tragedy, and to use his platform not just for laughs, but to inspire others who carry their own burdens of anger and bitterness, reminding them that hate may feel powerful, but it only chains you to pain, while forgiveness, though difficult, is the only way to truly be free. And so, when Tim Allen breaks down in tears and reveals how much he truly hated the man responsible for his father's death, it is more than just a shocking confession, it is the revelation of a lifetime of hidden suffering, a testimony of how tragedy can shape us, and ultimately a lesson about the cost of carrying hate and the courage it takes to finally release it. A story that leaves audiences not only in tears, but in awe of how even the funniest faces can hide the deepest wounds, and how one man's darkest confession can shine a light for others, walking through their own shadows. Allen was born in Denver, Colorado on June 13, 1953. He is the third oldest of 6 children of Martha Catherine, a community service worker, and Gerald M. Dick, a real estate agent. Allen has 2 older brothers, 2 younger brothers, and a younger sister. His father died in a car accident in November 1964, colliding with a drunk driver when Allen was 2 years later. His mother married her high school sweetheart, a business executive, and moved with her 6 children to Birmingham, Michigan, to be with her new husband and his 3 children. Allen has said the move meant going from being in a cool group at one school to being at the bottom of the social hierarchy at another. Thanks for watching.